Bitcoin is up around 23% since the election of President Trump back in November, but it's trading below the all-time highs that we saw in January, where the cryptocurrency popped above $109,000. With the recent market pullback, Bitcoin hasn't traded above $90,000 in more than a month. So, is this a good time to buy the cryptocurrency? Here with more, we've got Tyrone Ross, 401 financial principal and founder here. Tyrone, you own Bitcoin. You're saying that you're always buying. So is now the right time for people to add to their positions, even as we're off of that $109,000 peak that we had seen at the beginning of this year, but haven't been able to get back to that level?
First of all, good to see you, my man. And let's start here. I think whether it's Bitcoin or not, when any asset that you feel is worthy of your portfolio is off the highs and you have conviction and you thought it through, you should be buying. And I think there should be a long-term plan to that as well. But I do think, Bitcoin pulling back here and cooling off a bit and just kind of floating in this range, this $80,000 to $85,000 range. For the people that do look at it long-term, who see the investment thesis in it, I think this is a very prudent time to be adding to allocations based on your time horizon and your financial plan.
So let's separate investors into buckets. What about people who don't currently own any Bitcoin? Is now a good time to buy in?
No, it's not, because I think there's a lot that goes into making a first-time investment in this. So that's the first thing. If you are a long-term investor and you can tell me why you would buy Bitcoin now as a part of achieving your financial goals, I'm all for it. If you are a trader and you're just doing this because you're seeing it online or some TikTok video, then it's a resounding no. So I think the most important thing for people to do is learn, ask questions, see if it makes sense for you. Is it tied to a viable and prudent financial goal? Sure. Dollar cost average. So the peaks and the highs doesn't matter. You're constantly adding money with a strategy, and then you'll be in it for the long term. But worrying about the price of Bitcoin in 2025 is foolhardy to me.
What about other altcoins? Because naturally people will think about, well, wait a minute, wasn't the flippening supposed to happen? And us looking at Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin as the most valuable cryptocurrency. How are you evaluating the rest of the crypto landscape?
I would encourage those people to pull up any portfolio tracker, coin market cap, whatever that is, and look at the performance of altcoins. Just look at 6 months, look at the year, and just look at all of that red and see if that's somewhere that you want to be. I think the main thing is this: is there money to be made in obscure coins besides Bitcoin? Sure. But if you want to go into altcoins, you are going into an alternative universe as well, of which you probably have no knowledge. So I think people should look at altcoins once they understand Bitcoin, once they've seen how it performs, how volatile it is, and then see if you want to take, 10 times, 20 times the risk in an altcoin. It's obscure that you probably don't understand anyway.
So what from the administration do we still need to hear more on to really get a catalyst, the next catalyst for cryptocurrency and for Bitcoin specifically, especially as the campaign and those trails we're talking about Bitcoin strategic reserve and making sure that there was government buying, or at least that it sounded like there would be government buying of Bitcoin, but there are some fiscal hawks out there that would say, well, wait a minute, not so fast.
Yeah, as the resident crypto hippie for the wealth management space, I will say this: it would be nice to get some clarity on, again, what securities, what is not, what is going to happen around custody. But this administration has clearly demonstrated they're pro-crypto. It has been great for all things crypto assets, builders, entrepreneurs, investors, the whole case. Again, I think some clear stable coin legislation will be great. I think we have a new SEC chair that's nice. Hester Peirce and a lot of the folks at the SEC has been trying to clean out the gut of things that have been in there. The strategic Bitcoin reserve, right, and the crypto stockpile are interesting. That's a conversation for another day. I'll come visit you personally. We'll talk about that. But I think all signs point to getting clarity here. President Trump last week, by executive order, removing some of the stringent laws and attacks on DeFi protocols and things like that. So you're seeing some progress here. And I think the catalyst to get us to the next level is when we finally get clarity on what is the SEC in control of, what is the CFTC control of, and then ultimately you'll start to see more projects launch.
Is the bigger catalyst government buying of Bitcoin or private company buying of Bitcoin, or private sector, I should say, buying of Bitcoin. We were just talking about MicroStrategy, or Strategy now, the artist formerly known as MicroStrategy, and the amount of Bitcoin that they hold and continue to increase.
Yeah, the biggest catalyst is retail investors buying, and they aren't. Retail has been burnt, and they're away. I'm not a fan of the government buying Bitcoin or buying crypto. That's just me. I think corporations, yes, you're starting to see some more conversations around corporations adding it to their balance sheet. But the missing catalyst here is my Aunt May, who makes the really good sweet potato pie, also calling me and asking me about Bitcoin. She's not doing that. So if that's not happening when retail land, it'll be hard for us to get to new highs and push through that.
All right, when you hear from Aunt May, send me a plate, Tyrone. Appreciate it.
I got you, my man.
Thank you.